Hey Refreshers, Nicole Lauren from Refresh and Style. So I'm super excited about this one today. So we're going to be talking about something. So I have taught you guys how to declutter, right? You follow me on the decluttering and organizing journey, and you guys are learning to be minimal. You are learning to get rid of things that no longer serve you. And here is what's tied to that. We need to work on those spending habits, right? Do you guys find yourself emotionally spending, impulse buying? Maybe you got some retail therapy that you guys need to do. I am going to tell you how I became a minimalist and how it has helped transform my life and my family, kind of how I got there, my journey with minimalism, and how you can too. And you're going to want to stay tuned till the end because you are actually going to be able to do something super awesome for yourself if you follow this trick. If you guys are new to my channel, I would love it if you hit that red subscribe button. You can follow me for all things organizing, decluttering, and inspiration. And today, as we dive into minimalism, I want to inspire you so much to create this in your life. So I have a little bit of a different journey than maybe some of you do on my path to minimalism, but whatever it looks like, there's still the same road. We all want to live more simply, right? We want to have a simpler life. And there's a way to do that. And there is so many easy things you can do to create that in your life. So for me, I have had certain situations happen in my life numerous times where it left me where I lost everything that I had. And they were really hard times in my life. They were teaching times in my life. They were times I had to dive into my faith. But I had a hard time the first couple of times this happened because I was really attached to my stuff and I didn't even realize it until I lost it. I was grieving. I was crying that I didn't have the stuff left from my house. And it just kind of looking back on it, a long time ago. This happened a long time ago and I was looking back on it a long time ago. It just made me think about like, wow, why did I get so upset about stuff? It wasn't that I was cherishing it. It wasn't that I didn't think I was emotionally attached to my stuff, but I let my stuff define me and it was almost my safety net. And it just helped me reach to where I am today with my journey in minimalism and what I do with my stuff. I don't put certain values and I don't put certain emotions on my stuff any longer. And I think that you guys should check yourself to see if you do as well, because it can be life-changing, it can be freeing, it can be empowering. So when you don't have any of your stuff anymore, you're left with like, what do I have, right? I was asking myself that, like, I lost everything. I didn't lose anything. I was alive. My kids were alive. My family were alive. I still had all the memories. I had every single memory. I might have lost pictures. I might have lost stuff, but I still had every single memory that we did in my heart and in my mind. And that is what matters. And that's kind of literally just been my way of life now, is when it's holiday time, I tell my family, don't buy us stuff. Like, I don't want stuff. You know, they'll get us tickets to amusement parks, or we can go bowling together, or we can go to a restaurant together. We make memories. We don't need stuff. And my kids are kind of used to this pattern now, so they understand that we don't need stuff either. Stuff ends up weighing us down, and we tend to put so much emotion on stuff that doesn't need to be there. So let's talk about like clothes, for instance. I've done tons of videos on how to get rid of your clothes, and the number one thing that people have a hard time getting rid of clothes is because of the emotion to it. So we either think like, oh, I spent so much money on this, I can't let it go, or oh, what if I need this, or oh, remember I wore this when. We put so much emotions on our stuff that doesn't need to be there. Emotions were not meant to be with tangible items. Like it's an object. We don't need to have emotion. We have emotional connections with people. We have emotional, connections with experiences. We weren't supposed to have it from an object. So I think if you pull the emotions out of it, like I tell you guys all the time, it'll be a little bit easier for you. So what I like to tell people to do, what I do is when I know I'm going to go on a shopping trip, first of all, if it's not like I specifically need this one item, but if I'm just going to the store, like sometimes you get invited to the mall, or sometimes you're going on a girl shopping spree or whatever, or you're just going to walk around the store, or like me, I'm going in to do a shop with me video to show you guys all the super cute stuff. I don't always leave with stuff, because what I do before I go into the store is I do a little window shopping of my own stuff. So if I know I'm going to run to Target and I know I need a bathing suit, I'm going to check my cover-ups. I'm going to see like, okay, Nicole, like if you buy a cover-up, you're going to have to get rid of a cover-up, because that's my rule. If you buy something, you must get rid of the same kind of object. That's how you keep minimalism going. That's how you keep the boutique vibe. That's how you keep a clutter-free house. So I make sure I set myself up for success from the beginning. And, if sometimes you don't remember or you don't have time, you kind of know what you have. So just be prepared if you buy that object. You've got to go home and get rid of something. I know it sounds like a lot in the beginning, but you will get so used to it, and it actually becomes refreshing and exciting that if you buy something, you let the old one go. If you buy a whole new set of dishes or a whole new sets of towels, why are you guys keeping the old ones? Let them go. Let the new energy and the new one in, and let the old ones go. So when you go to the store and you're looking at all the stuff, it's actually going to help you save money. And here is the best part. When we think about how much guilt we had, right? When we let go of items, and how much hard decisions that took, and we spent money. Like we want temporary satisfaction, and we have this temporary emotion when we go to Target and we buy something, and we buy 4 of something, and we buy things that we don't need because maybe we're happy, we're celebrating, or maybe we're sad and we need retail therapy. Whatever it is, we're going cha-ching and we're spending it, right? We need to understand and we need to remember that those are temporary fixes, and long term, it's actually going to harm us. It's going to clutter our house, and it's going to give us guilt one day when we got to get rid of it. And it's just like eating junk food. Like, it's temporary satisfaction. We're not going to remember the next day that you bought that super cute sweater that you wore yesterday, that you bought yesterday, that was $55, and now you're at $55 and you're not wearing the sweater every day. Like, it's a temporary fix. It's just like eating the ice cream in the moment. Like, once it's done, it's done. You can't take it back, right? So here's what I suggest. Find another way to find satisfaction and happiness. There is so many minimalistic things that you can do, and I'm actually going to be doing a full video on like minimalistic self-care things that you can be doing. But you want to make sure that you're doing stuff that makes you happy, that won't make you feel guilty 10 minutes later, and that doesn't put you into debt. So there's so many things that you can be doing. You know, instead of going and stopping at your favorite coffee shop at 3 times a day to get your coffee morning, noon, and night, maybe it means coming home and making a cup of homemade tea and snuggling up in the bathtub with your favorite book, or having a glass of wine and watching a movie. Or I don't know, you guys aren't at dinner, so you cook at home more often, and then it leads to your kids wanting to bake a recipe with you, and you guys laugh in the kitchen because you burn the hamburgers because you don't eat meat, and it greases all over the floor. That definitely happened to me last night because we weren't eating out. My kids all wanted Chick-fil-A, and I was like, no, we're not going to Chick-fil-A. We have food. I can cook here. And it was a big mess, and I ended up burning the burgers, and they called them hockey pucks. But we made a memory, and my kids wanted to actually cook with me. So, you know, maybe it looks a little bit different like that. Or maybe you guys, instead of going out for the 4th night in a row to go to the movie theater or to go bowling, maybe it looks like you guys are having a tournament on the video games together. Or maybe you're cracking out a board game. You're making use of the stuff you already brought into your house that you say that you guys still need. So there's different forms of entertainment. There's different forms of satisfaction. And I know that sometimes when it's like, oh, I don't want to spend any money. Oh, I'm on a spending freeze. We think of it as like, oh, but I have to give up so much that I love. So here's the best part. Are you guys ready? So if you are literally trying to stop your spending, stop the impulsive, stop bringing clutter into your house, it means we're not spending as much money, right? Here is what I wanted you guys to wait for. So the best part is that if you guys are doing this little minimalistic spending freeze, if you want to be it freeze, like if you guys need to save money, or if you're just being a little bit more cautious of your spending habits, pick a goal and run with it. So for me and my family, we love to go on different vacations, and we love to, you know, bond and spend that time together. And I also am saving for a few big purchases in my life. You know, one day I want to buy a house. I need a bigger car to have all of your guys' donations in. So we have a couple of huge goals in mind that I can know off the top of my head, like big girl dreams, big girl trips, big girl visions, right? Like, what are they? So I know for me, it's super motivating when I tell my kids, like, nope, we are not stopping at Chick-fil-A. We are saving for a cruise. Fill it in. We are saving for a house. We are saving for a special trip at the end of the month to go out to dinner and for ice cream. We are saving for new outfits for our new Hawaii trip. We're saving for, get the idea. So pick something that you and your family are super motivated to do. Pick something that is on your dream list, on your bucket list. And every time you think you need that extra shirt, or every time you think you need that mug when you already have 76 at home, every time you think you need to stop at Starbucks 3 times a day, I want you guys to think about it. Do I need what I'm about to buy, or do I want it? Am I going to have to let go of something that I buy? Probably. What is more important, those temporary emotions and fixes, or my long term, my long my long big girl dream? Like, what is more important? For me, I don't want to spend $25 a day on fast food and stuff when I literally can take that $25 that I was going to spend a day and I can put it in an envelope, or I can put it in the savings account, and by the end of the year I have a down payment for a house I want to buy. Or by the end of 6 months we can go on that vacation that we're saving for. So it helps if you have an end game, and that is what I wanted literally to dive into and tell you guys. Set yourself up for success. If you guys just say, I'm not spending any more money, I'm not going to buy anything, and we just can't go to Chick-fil-A just because, you're not going to do it. But if you guys have something that is motivating, it's like setting a goal. Set a minimalistic goal as a reward, that I am not going to bring more clutter into my house. I am not going to spend money on things that are temporary emotion. And you say, I am not going to spend money because we're going to get to go on a trip together. I'm not going to spend this money now because we're going to get to move into a house together. I am not going to because. So just fill it in with whatever is on your list and in your dreams, and talk about it as a family. Because a lot of times I think we don't tell our spouses, or we don't tell our significant others, or we don't tell our kiddos what's going on, and it's going to cause a lot of frustration, and it's not easy. Like, if you think you're going to transition to this like within day 2, you're wrong. Like, it takes a little bit of time to break a habit. We're used to spending money, we're used to doing all this stuff. So it's going to be a transition period, and you need to tell your family what's happening. So you need to tell your kids, like, nope, we're not going bowling into Chick-fil-A tonight, because at the end of 3 months from now, we're going away to Hawaii. Like, who wouldn't be motivated, right? So have an end goal and keep them realistic. So a lot of the times, we sometimes shoot for the stars and they're not obtainable. Make sure this is something obtainable that you actually can do. So if you want to buy a house, you can't tell your kids, like, in 6 months, we're going to buy a house with our down payment, if it's not realistic and you're not ready to move for a year from now. Maybe say, okay, well, in 6 months, we are going to be able to go on a weekend getaway, and we're still going to be able to save for our house. So just make sure they're realistic. And this is actually going to be super motivating and help you. And it's actually going to bring you to the point that once you guys go on those vacations together, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I didn't have to get rid of anything. I really didn't have to sacrifice, because by that time you guys are going to be so used to not spending money. You didn't have to sacrifice anything for this trip. It literally just came because you stopped bringing clutter into your house, and you stopped wasting money on things, that little things that add up. So you can now focus on the big things. And those big things are things that you actually need, right? Like, most of the time we buy a bigger house because we need it. We buy a bigger car because we need it. And if you want it, you might, from this process, double guess yourself, right? You're going to say, do I really need this item? I want it, but do I need it? And same thing goes for, like, our objects and our stuff. You're going to find yourself less and less being like, I'm going to go buy 6 new shirts, when you realize you got to get rid of 6, and that money is going to put you out from you're farther away from your goals. So it really helps when you have this outlook and this mind frame when it comes to minimalistic living. I would love to hear from you guys if you guys live minimalistically, and if you guys have ran into any challenges, obstacles, or if you found something for your family that actually works and that excites you. Because I know for me, I am totally teaching my children how to live this lifestyle as well. I have 2 boys, and they don't need a lot of items. They know that I'm not going to buy them tons of gifts for Christmas, that we are going to go do stuff as a family. We're going to go on vacation as a family, and we kind of only buy the stuff that we need. And when it comes to when we do get to splurge now and then, and we do go out to dinner now and then, it means something more, because it's not something we do all the time, right? So that's what works for my family. My little one has a little bit of emotional attachments. He is my spender. My older one is a saver. He will not spend any of his money. My little one's like, cha-ching, let's go. But he's also the one that has more sentimental value, because he spends his money on stuff and then he feels like he needs to keep the stuff. And when he goes to get rid of the stuff, he feels guilt. So it's all connected. Usually if you have those higher spending habits, you have a harder time getting rid of your stuff. So I challenge you to dive into those minimalistic tips today. And I'm so happy that you guys stay till the end so you can hear how it will literally help guide you to a goal, and how it can be super inspiring and motivating. And fun fact about Nicole that I always say, stay till the end. I did get asked the other day if I was raised this way, like if I was raised in a home that was very minimal, and it made me stop and think for a second. And I was like, wow, like I never thought if the way I grew up was minimalistic, because a lot of the times if your parents are hoarders, you're going to be a hoarder. If your parents buy everything and then have a hard time getting rid of stuff, that's how you're going to be, because you're around that. That's how we were raised. All of those emotions and all of those processes, they carry on with us into adulthood. And I would actually say that I did grow up pretty minimal. We always had what we needed. We had what we wanted to. We would take our yearly trips to Disney World and we would save for that. But my parents were never big, like, let's go out to dinner all the time or let's go buy new things. They explained to me that, like, we need new clothes when it's school time. Every Friday night we would go out to dinner because it was in the budget, and they budgeted for that. And we just kind of grew up knowing that we had one vacation a year that we saved for. We had one, special treat on a Friday that we would save for. We didn't go out every night of the week. We didn't get coffee. We didn't get Starbucks. So we had everything that we needed. And then we were able to get what we wanted because my parents set that budget and they set us up for success. So I think that's carried over to me. Neither one of my parents have held on to stuff. Neither one of them were hoarders. Neither one of them had stashes of stuff everywhere. We lived pretty minimalistic. So I think that our past definitely does carry over and, kind of set us up how we're going to be for adulthood. So I definitely pass that on to my children and explain, even with my little one, I work through those emotions with him and why we need to save our money, why we don't impulsive buy, why we don't make those decisions based on emotions. So I would love to hear if you guys were raised minimalistic or if you got hoarders as a parent and how that's transitioned into your life. So I hope that you guys had tons of fun with me and you learned a little bit of how to be minimalistic in my story. You can also check me out on Facebook and Instagram. If you did not subscribe to my YouTube channel yet, hit that red subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell so you guys never miss a beat or a basket or where I'm gonna go, because I have a huge end goal of what we're saving for. So can't wait when we do a video about that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye guys.